And all the fun continues here in Sydney, of course, for the Group Swiss stage of Intel Extreme Masters Sydney. My name is Mitch Leslie, and I'm joined here on the desk now by a little bit of a mix-up in attendance. It's going to be Sponge joining me as well, alongside Sniper. So now it's a real Australian desk, ladies and gentlemen. We were hoping to spare you of this for as long as we possibly could, but it was inevitable. Now the time has come. All right, boys, how are we?
Can't get more ochre than this right here.
Probably not. Two blokes from Perth. I'm from South Australia. I think that's pretty solid.
I'm more than happy for us to branch off for the rest of the country if you guys want.
Yeah, it's cool. Let's just break off the eastern states. Let them.
Don't have to have that whole GST debate then, do we?
Yeah, no,
we could probably win a national then.
That's it. Maybe that we can leave Turnbull with them as well. He can bugger off as well.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Anyway, let's recap a little bit here. We're into the second phase of the Swiss group stage now, and we are down to our losers to start things off with. Now, this first match is going to be featuring OpTic, who had a very close stash up against North initially, and ViCi, who had the unenviable prospect of taking on SK Gaming in their first match. Now, it's funny, when we talked to you, Chad, at the first game, and you actually were very tentative, saying, well, technically on paper, this is actually a close match between North and OpTic, and you were actually literally right with the way the game went there. Very much a back and forth affair. Very long game to start us off.
It's very difficult to predict how any of the players from OpTic are going to play because it's always someone different showing up, and in that occasion it was Tarek, right? He put up a monster performance in that regulation, and then when we got into the overtimes, everybody was contributing for that team. So it was good to see that they're fragging, right? There's no issue with them hitting shots because we're up against a team like SK. Coming into this one, they should be confident because they know that, you know, they made some mistakes, but so I said SK against North, but they managed to put up a decent performance. Going into a team where they're considered favourites, that becomes a bit of an issue though, because are they going to have done their research? How are they going to prep for a team like ViCi?
Well, I think MSL said that North struggled being thought as favourites, you know, on HLTV recently in an interview going up against OpTic in that earlier match. But ViCi Gaming, we're trying to pull a little bit of information out of that game, or at least as much as we can, especially given that how Asian CS can be quite hard to access there. You know, where were their positives? Where were they really doing well against SK, or were there any shining moments?
I think for me it was mostly just the Orban having a great game and just fragging lights out over some world-class players, which is kind of surprising, but at the same time we've come to know the Chinese region for their great aim. I was a little surprised at how lackluster their T-side was. They really had a plan A, and then when that didn't work, things just fell to bits. But apart from that, they were up against the giant that is SK. And I think coming into this game, they're probably going to be looking at OpTic, and they would have a good idea already of what kind of things they're going to get from OpTic. But the thing is, with OpTic's players, they're just, like Chad said, they're pretty sporadic, pretty inconsistent. Maybe one guy will be great one game and maybe not the next. I'd be surprised to see if Hayes can perform as good as he did in that first game as well. And I don't know if it's something that ViCi can prepare for.
So we're all waiting on the vetoes. They'll be a little way off at this stage, so we will continue.
Could be a cobble again. You know, that's a map that might pop up again. I think, you know, it might be Train though, Mitch, because a little website that I frequent just told me it's Train.
Oh, really?
Sorry, I'm ahead of the veto. I just ruined everything.
It's quite funny because I was told that 4 minutes will be taken. Production, 4 minutes?
No, we won't get on production.
You already have to.
No, don't speak their name. They're like Voldemort.
No, it's fine.
But they're friendly Voldemort.
I think they want to make us dangle a little bit.
Okay. Well, I think the biggest issue right now for this matchup would be making sure that other players can frag on the side of ViCi, right? The good thing that Orman was doing to get frags, especially on that T side, was getting to drop. And I don't know if, you know, the guys from SK weren't really monitoring him, or they weren't putting too much presence on it, but the thing was he was just able to get in there and get a lot of frags in that position and be a bit of a nuisance. On Train, if he's in another position, potentially he's playing, you know, getting out to Nook, out of Timid, I think people call it Olaf in the rest of the world, or putting a lot of pressure on Ivy and Vines, then, you know, he could be a nuisance again on that T side. But as a unit, they need to play a better brand of Counter-Strike, and I think if they can get on a roll, same kind of points as made before, they need to get on the economy of OpTic. If they can get on top of that, then you can throw in some gimmicky strategies, throw in some executes they're probably not expecting. Once you're on top of that economy, you can steamroll away with a few rounds. But I don't know how deep this ViCi map pool is, right? Because when you don't play against tier 1 opponents from time to time, you don't actually know what your strengths are. You know, okay, this is one that we favor and we get good results on, but how does this pair up against the European or American brands of Counter-Strike?
Well, they're also straight up a newer team as well. The last time we saw them, they were VG's Cyberzen, I think.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with these guys playing in like Zen League or anything similar like that? Do you actually get much as an Aussie player playing, you know, trying to play some tournaments?
No, personally, I haven't. I don't think I've ever versed them. I think we might have versed them a long time ago in a Vox Seminole or something like that.
We played against one Chinese unit with like, I swear they've changed aliases a lot. They were like Kiyu or something back then.
Yeah,
like
Kiyu, that was them. And it was just Advent and Zoking, and since then they've got Jackson and Freeman who look pretty good. Freeman statistically goes lights out in their domestic region. Yeah, that's right. So it'll it'll be interesting to see if they can get him to have some sort of impact against the Americans. Obviously, I feel like they'll have a lot more confidence coming in against OpTic as opposed to when they were versing SK. And also because Orman did so well against SK, you've got to be able to carry that into the next game and say, look how good I did against SK. Like, I'm sure we can bring it to these guys. So they'll definitely be confident.
And what do a team like ViCi looks like stylistically there? Are there any like real big tendencies that we can identify that maybe are a product of them being from a completely different region with different influences?
So the old ViCi, when it had Savage and TB, they used to be much slower in their approach, very methodical. They used to, do the defaults, and then they had a cool, some gimmicks, like one-way smokes on Cage comes to mind when they were doing on the boost and stuff like that. But they'd take territory and take their time in doing it, and then they hit executes as a unit. Then you've got Tai Lu, the other well-known Chinese team. They're basically just a pack roll team, right? That's how they used to be known. They just brute force into bomb sites. There were 5 of them together like 90% of the time. Very difficult to deal with because they had very good aim, and they were just relentless in the way that they would approach. And that is more of the Asian approach that you would know over Counter-Strike in 1.6. They're just aggression, right? With this team, from what we've seen from this one match, was it looked like they were trying to play a European style, right? They were doing defaults, they were spread out across the map, they were finding information, taking territory, trying to do executes. But when it got to the point of actually needing to make the frags, they were having a bit of an issue finishing it off. They were getting bomb sites. It was just the finer points of trading out and making their way in. My thing with the Chinese team going up against opponents who don't know what you're doing, it is the best thing to have a random playstyle. You don't want to just be like copying a playstyle from somewhere else when you don't actually have the caliber of players or understanding to do that. You want to have a gimmick. You want to have something that you can catch the opponent off guard with, and I don't think that ViCi have that.
So, I mean, and do you ever think they're going to be in a position really where they're comfortable enough to try and dip their toe in the water like that as well? I mean, we talked in that last map, seeing Renegades, it was like, are they going to take a pause? Are they going to take a pause? And you kept saying, well, they haven't really tried everything they've got up their sleeve yet.
They've probably got more ideas that they can throw at it. They just had to work their way through it. And I mean, look, that comes down to maybe some inexperience with Nexa, but for ViCi Gaming, they just seemed really rigid. And at the same time, SK were just able to throw a spanner in every time they had an execute ready to go, which looked like they were just calling straight out of the spawn. And then SK would do some sort of aggressive maneuver, whether it be Taco AWPing the B platform or Fall and getting that pick in mid with the AWP over the smoke. And then they just abandoned their strategy altogether, and that's when things just fell down for them. So hopefully, if that does happen and OpTic takes some aggressive stance against them, they're able to adapt and come back later on in the round. Like we can see SK do that all the time.
Righto. So apparently, boys, they showed a video while we were talking, but I didn't see it. At least we know it was trained now. I think that was what we saw on a little website that we don't always...
I apologize to production for doing that.
That's fine. At least we know. It is going to be the map of Train Now, and to take us into this one, we're going to be mixing things up a little bit more. It is going to be Lauren Pansy Scott and Jason Moses O'Toole to take us into our second round of matches.
Alright, thank you very much, guys. And yeah, ViCi Gaming up against OpTic. Now, OpTic had probably the closest game, I guess, that we saw at the start. Came out pretty much swinging. ViCi got a tough draw, but what do you make of these two head-to-head?
I mean, this is one of the things where you should say OpTic is a clear favorite, even with Hayes standing in. It will be interesting to see, though, because, I mean, even in the matchup where it was so close early with OpTic, the quadruple overtime, there were some mistakes that allowed the North guys to take some individual fights, and that's where we know one of the big advantages that teams have over some of the Asian teams is their ability to have better teamwork. So that's maybe where ViCi could find some of those duels that would be beneficial to the underdogs.
Well, it's eyes on ViCi here. They're going to be up on the T side. CT side will be OpTic, and we are into this one. While we stare at them, I can talk you through what's going on already. Naf and Hayes looking like they're heading down towards Ivy to get the information, and they got more than info. They actually got a kill as well.
Yeah, and actually playing very passively. The smokes aren't doing too much, and that's not going to help either. Tarek with a very quick headshot. 2 going to head towards the inner bomb site. It's the only option they have left, and even that's getting shut down by Rush. Not a whole lot of chance. The full rotation is on for OpTic, and the plant's going to be so tough.
Yeah, and it's looking near on impossible. Tarek. All right. He was having a good game earlier. If he continues this, it's going to be pretty scary. He looks pretty on point.
We also have to remember with OpTic as well, this is a map that they love playing. They're feeling very comfortable on Train. This is a map that in the past they've wanted to play this against opponents. They've had some very close battles with Astralis, who's another very good Train team. So this is going to be a tall task for ViCi to be able to come over them on this map. And already that pissed around. Very quick, very dominant. Couple scouts out. You got the UMP of Famas. The rifles are out for OpTic, and it is a buy into it. Tech 9s, the CZ.
1 smoke.
And 1 smoke. Yeah, that's not too appealing for going up against 2 scouts as well.
No, it might be a little bit of a rough ride for them, but we'll see where they put that smoke down, see if it actually gives them any opportunities here, as Jackson is working his way up Ivy. Hayes is on the other side now. At the moment, not really feeling too much pressure here. It's pretty much just down to ViCi, and there's that 1 smoke going in. So going to isolate off 1 player, but everyone else's attention could be drawn over.
Yeah, and you almost feel like they have to go through this. It's the one smoke. They have to use it somehow. It's when are they going to decide to? Rush is looking both ways. The scouts at range aren't blocked off at all, and they're just going to wait it out. So that smoke is now kind of useless, and they've just got to go forward. There's some good damage dealt, but Rush is going to find the opening. The scout doing damage from range.
Yeah, well, ViCi so far being held at arm's length. The only breakthrough really being Jackson here at this point. One other frag was picked up, but to little to no extent of actually gaining any play towards the round now. Jackson's already down to 9 HP. It's not looking too likely. Got back to the Tech 9, and Mixwell happily going to greet that one. And 3 alive, everything pretty much still up for OpTic. So all in all, considering that smoke actually failed to ViCi finding 2 kills was kind of impressive, but it seemed their plan kind of fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really seem like even the plan to begin with was going to be that solid. I mean, you could just tell with the amount of utility. So that's a lot of investment for ViCi that doesn't do a whole lot for him. And now you can see the M4s are upgraded. That Thomas was salvaged from one of the scouts. That's traded out as well. Naf still has his. He's using that towards the inner bomb site, all alone as well, so a little bit risky, but no armor. And again, ViCi with just one flashbang, one nade to use in this round. They've got to hope it's perfect.
Well, Mixwell has come across at least through connector, so maybe he can support a little bit. Naf doesn't seem that fussed, though, on his own. Just going to take down Zoking, and now the hit begins. Naf tries to back away, but the molly does just as well. He doesn't need support yet, but he does have it there. It's Mixwell spotting out towards the upper side, and it's pretty much a shutdown here. To be fair for ViCi, all they're wanting was a plant, and they didn't get that.
Yeah, that Molotov was perfect. I mean, ViCi didn't know if they wanted to go through it or wait behind it. Alman actually went through, and none of his teammates followed up with it. That's going to be frustrating if you're the player running through it. But either way, likely they all just die if they go through that Molotov. So quick 3-0 for OpTic. We didn't see a whole lot in those 2 rounds that implied any kind of danger to them losing one. And now you've got 4 AKs. You've got the Galil out on Advent.
All right, back to the Galil. But I'd had a little walk down earlier to have a little look to see what ViCi were up to as well. And they were sat there, I think, watching over the demo from earlier, watching back the replay of their game, not to just pass. So again, these guys clearly want, maybe a little bit of revenge down the line, but they have to get past OpTic first. And the wallbang scaring Advent a little then, but nothing really gained nor lost so far. Quite a slow start here for ViCi. And getting just in towards the spots where they might want to eventually go for that pinch.
Tarek and Rush playing pretty aggressively. Hayes with the interesting nade. And Mixwell going to be far back with the M4. So yeah, I mean, watching all these corners, but good mix of aggression and just passive play. You can see even Naf towards the inner bomb site so far back with that scout. He's not feeling any pressure, not even really spotting for feet at all either, so they won't have the intel if that's going to come. OpTic feeling pretty confident because Rush this close in ladder room can gain intel. He can have a quick rotate over as well if need be. And there it is, the hit out. The entry goes the way of ViCi. Actually, they've gotten 2, so they're opening up this bomb site, but still Hazed and Mixwell alive out here playing around these smokes.
Hayes? Did he just missed Alman going right next to him. He looked confused there for a second as well, maybe a little rustier than expected, but I think it was just within that second he saw just maybe a leg flash past, but now it's Hayes left in the 1v3, and it's not looking so likely unless he can get this one going fast, and sadly enough, even though the bomb wasn't to hand, Alman just somehow made it out to that position, and you saw how confused Hayes was there. He was like, did I see someone through that smoke? It was the smallest of gaps, but still, it worked out. The timing to pinch towards Pop then and come out of main, it was actually kind of impressive.
Well, I mean, that almost didn't even feel like that was an actual hit or an execute. It just all of a sudden the kills went the way of ViCi. You didn't even really see any smokes kind of come over, and it was almost like the signal was them finding that kill, and then it's like, all right, everyone go. This is the timing for it, and it works out. So OpTic now, they've got to get back into it. They have the AWP on Mixwell. It seemed like some of that aggressive play, maybe some players confused of where they were watching got caught off guard.
Well, they're going back to it. This time, though, it's Tarek pushed up towards Pop, so he does have rush off just towards that electric box, so not too far away. And elsewhere, again, still Naf just soloing out on B, feels pretty comfortable. Again, not too much pressure. This time, at least, there is a player there to kind of maybe apply some utility down to force a player over. Mixwell coming over now as well. But ViCi seems to take their time here.
Yeah, they're being very, very patient across the map, looking for some kind of aggression. And again, it just looks like they're poised to just kind of blow up out of this entryway. It's a little bit different. There's not a whole lot of aggression towards this mid choke point. It's off to the side towards E-Box where there's 2 players. And just Hayes on top of the train. He'll have the opportunity to look that way as well.
Tarek this time clearly aware of what happened last time, but now he's got support. Rush is locking it down, but Tarek needs to just focus on Pop. His teammate's got his back right now. Rush is trying to handle it. Hayes is there as well, watching the line, and Tarek's still trying to find some piece of play that he needs to put through, but he doesn't need to do it. It's Alman again coming through down by Ivy to find Hayes, but limited options now apply as Tarek is round the back, but he can't follow up with a second.
Yeah, that's nicely done from OpTic. But again, even that round is a little bit on that knife's edge. You can see Tarek actually takes the first contact from behind him. So a little bit of miscommunication on the angle his teammates watching, and he got a little bit scared. You didn't know whether he was supposed to look towards teammate or look back towards ladder room, but they hold on just barely, and then it's an easy cleanup from there. ViCi couldn't get much going on in that, and they're going to force buy right back into this. 2 UMPs and the pistols, and again, just very, very light on nades.
Well, that didn't work out too well last time, considering how it went down on Ivy, but who knows? Maybe that obviously wasn't the intended plan, but maybe a little bit of a faster bait out by B here. That's just Almond trying to get some attention, but Tarek's already found some. That's Freeman gone. And again, losing out on a player early, not going to be ideal for ViCi as, well, they're limited on options, and Tarek's found another. They're just falling down over by Pop.
Yeah, that's not the ideal way to keep sending bodies. Tarek's going to love that. I mean, they even made a presence towards box halls, which is nice. You don't want that inner defender to feel so safe. You want him to call rotations. But Mixwell pushed up. I mean, he figures out pretty quickly that there's actually no one there, that it was just a little bit of a ruse. So the UMP's trying to do something. Rush is brought down towards 3, and there's a chance for Zoking to get at least 1 kill into the round, but no real hope of him winning it, or even getting that plant.
Yeah, bit of a shame. Maybe with a couple more plants we could see a little bit more utility, maybe something built into these plays, but so far these kind of buy-ups have been a little flat. Getting anywhere, and Rush closes it out. Even with 3 HP, perfectly fine, no problem. Now, OpTic so far defining a decent CT side. Money's starting to look a little bit better as well. They've got a little bit of a cushion building beside them. And on the other side of things, you look at ViCi, they're looking pretty skint, to be fair, barely hitting that 2K marker, so desperate for any bomb plant to come through.
Yeah, and the tough part is that none of these rounds where they've invested into the pistols, into the UMPs, have had any kind of success, so why continue to do that into this round? Just do a full save, you can have a 3-round losing bonus built up, and then you'll be able to buy some things, then you'll be able to put some kind of plan into action. So just going for the full Glock train. Who are they going to feed? Mixwell's going to be up top. He'll be able to spot that out. He's even got Naf here to help him if he needs to fall back, but he's going to keep up with the fight. There's the 5-7, grabs 1. He's still sticking around. This is a little bit dangerous, and yeah, he's dropped. I mean, no real opportunity to win the round for ViCi, but they kind of want to salvage that AWP if they can get up there. That's an expensive gun they have to throw away. They don't even get it, so they have to rebuy the AWP. A small mistake, but a mistake nonetheless.
But maybe just a little bit hap-handed. You know, you're 6-1 up, you're feeling good, you know, you're starting to feel out the game, you get a little bit overzealous, a little bit overconfident, and well, he got punished for it. So putting him back down into place, like, all right, maybe I should have backed away there. Maybe I should have just, you know, fallen off.
Especially if feeling as such big underdogs in the match overall as well. Yeah, and then we're going to see a tactical pause out of ViCi. So you mentioned you saw him doing a little bit of work earlier. Maybe this is something they can bring forward into it. I mean, at the moment, the one round they had success is just when they get kind of those 2 out-of-nowhere entry kills, and none of the tactics have actually worked. So some of those fights they need to take early on in these rounds to swarm forward into these train yards is what they need. They just need to win some early duels.
Well, they've been playing pretty passive apart from that one round where they actually got those early entries, but I wonder if they're up for the challenge of going back into it. But it looks like the aggression coming out from the CT side, and they're putting nothing down towards Pop. Tarek is having a great time. No flashes, no nothing. He's just sat there. All right, there's the flash, comes back in. Doesn't land the frag towards Jackson, so at least they do have some play towards this. But still, everywhere else is being watched. The smokes are now up, though. Zoking's starting to walk his way through, but a nice angle from Mixwell. Cuts Olming down at pretty much the heels here, leaving just Jackson in this one. And everyone knows his spot. That nade might do it there. Well, it was Mixwell that did it in the end, but yeah, this is a little bit curious. They just keep falling down Pop. That's not even the first time that's happened. This has been quite consistent.
No, this is a little bit of just a missed timing from the ViCi guys, thinking they could make it down before CT would have the chance to push in, and obviously they were wrong, and so very wrong. Getting 2 kills, even the massive amount of damage out of the third one.
Very
so,
wrong, Jason.
There's only one way to put it, is there? Oh, that's brutal. And yeah, this is where it's starting to get a little. This is where you can start seeing it. It'll turn a lot into these individual plays from ViCi, where they just kind of realize they don't have any kind of success. So everyone's going to start trying to make something happen, and that's where it can really start to get dicey.
Well, ViCi needs something to start going right for them. It does feel as though they're clutching at straws at this point. Smoke's been put up, though, so maybe this is the plan in mind. Mixwell's already found Freeman, though, so again, operating at a loss from the very offset. And Mixwell knows they're not coming B. He can just sit here now, lock this one down. They can focus elsewhere. Hayes locks down the one player who pushed through from main, and now Hayes can turn around. He does eventually get overwhelmed, but instantly there's Naf just watching where they're coming from. There's nothing really getting past OpTic here.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, OpTic, outside of keeping 2 players at some of these points of attacks. I mean, they're so aggressive towards ladder room, towards that mid choke point, that Hayes on top of that train can swing both ways. He can really pivot, and then he's got another guy there to help him out. Mixwell's pushed up to that upper ramp with the AWP quite a number of times, so you imagine they would get used to that one, and I mean, you can either exploit that or just stay away from it.
We'll see. They have the utility. Maybe they want to molly it out. Maybe they can do something now. There's no, you know, 100% fact that he's going to go back there, but it looks like as soon as OpTic know they're on a buy, they go for a little bit of aggression somewhere on the map. And actually, this time Mixwell does get caught, so they did keep that in mind. They mollied it out and watch for the peek.
I wonder if he tried to peek behind that Molotov. That's not a great pop flash. Not great. but no danger to really have to worry about there. So Rush has had to cheat the rotate, at least for now. It'll be interesting to see when he chooses to fall away, if he does. But ViCi are going to take that one kill into Mixwell, and they're going to stick around this inner side. This is their goal. 4 players here. They have no map control, and OpTic knows this. Hazed has pushed up towards Ivy. He has this intel. They're going to keep one player because they haven't cleared out mid, but they're starting to get the idea that it's going to be coming towards inner.
Now, Naf has been pretty solid at holding this so far, so don't write him off just yet. And he's pushing up pretty close, and he's got Rush there with him to support. And look how much progress Hazed has made. They know this is not going to be an A hit right now unless they abort at this very second and hit back through pop. Rush now raises himself, and here comes the hit. ViCi are actually in. Jackson finding Tarek is important, but Naf's position goes unchecked. Now, Jackson's low, and this is going so well so far for Naf, but he's down pretty low at this point. But finding another is huge. This is keeping it so well balanced. Now, Omen, though, a bit of an unorthodox position, maybe going to catch them out.
Yeah, this round is all on Hazed. That information was critical. Naf in a tough spot as well, gets those 3 kills. They've got to know he's coming from this direction. They're going to find it out for sure there. Naf peeks over. 20 seconds left on the clock, and Hazed, he has everything he could want. He's got a Molotov. He's got the upper ground as well. He's going to come down the ramp, though. Here's the plant, and it's going to be an easy kill for Hazed. No bomb plant whatsoever. OpTic starting to run away with it.
Yeah, credit to Hazed from the start of that round,
Yeah.
really. It was well held on B. Naf, made a really good stick of just staying there, being a real nuisance. But the information coming through was perfect. It put them in a great position for it. No worries, able to put a player over there earlier as well. It was just a complete shutout.
Well, I mean, Rush even started to rotate away. He had cheated over, and he was going back towards the outer site. So the information that Hazed has was critical to get him back just for that one kill, just to find it in time. Not enough players coming out the upper ramp on that split from ViCi to really put any pressure on Naf to be able to take him out for his teammates.
9-1 starting a little, look a little bit condemning at this point, but
A lot of bit condemning, I would say.
silver lining, Jason. I'm clutching
Reach
at
for it,
straws
yep.
here. But it's not looking great, and these rounds haven't looked that close either. There's been a
No.
couple of moments where they trade out, but it does feel as though OpTic have seemingly had the upper hand throughout most of it, whether it be through information, positioning, the early picks. It's all seemingly gone their way. It hasn't felt like one of those games where ViCi have been able to pull much into their favor yet.
Well, there's been 0 bomb plants. The one round they won was just ViCi gets a couple entries and then just ends up wiping everyone off the map. And outside of that, there's been no success. Very, very tough for ViCi at the moment to find any kind of map control, any kind of presence that they can leverage. And this time, OpTic, we're used to seeing Tarek pushed up towards lava room, some aggression towards that mid choke point. Everyone's playing far back. Heavy emphasis towards Ivy. They've got 2 players here. One on the bomb train, that's Mixwell with the AWP. So he got exploited towards the inner bomb site just last round, and now he's going to switch things up and take it outside.
This time they are actually causing a little bit of a rotate. Mixwell heading over towards B when the hit looks like it's coming towards A, but the information is going to be passed very soon. Considering Rush is this close, he spotted a hell of a lot out, but he actually doesn't land the shot he needs to in the end. But the bomb is now spotted, and Mixwell, eyes trained on it. Nice little shot comes through, but it's still the 2v2. There's a chance here. Ullman could possibly do something, be a real nuisance, but he draws out the shot there. Mixwell going to boost up Naf. Naf gets the spot, but doesn't get the frag, and they're dancing with danger here.
Yeah, that's a tough angle for Mixwell. He's going to rush out. He's going to try and get the planter unsuspecting, but he's ready for it. There's the smoke. Mixwell does find it. He's traded out for the M4, and it's Allman in a 1-on-2. How can he play this? The bomb is planted, but there's still plenty of time on the clock. Naf and Mixwell being patient, waiting for him to make some kind of a mistake. Not giving him to it just yet, and Naf's going to go hunting, and I don't think he spotted him. There's the bomb tap, and yeah, they know exactly where he is. That's a nice flick from Alman, though. He might have just done it. He's got the advantage now in this one-on-one. Naf's got to chase him down, but he can play the time, using the bomb as a teammate, and he's got the angle. That's a big kill. That's a big round for Alman. A second for ViCi.
Individually, these guys, they know what they're doing by quite high standards. Let's be very real about that. That was beautifully played in the 1v2. Now, I'm surprised it got down to that 1v2. I thought that 2v2 could have lasted out, but that quick push, I think it was Mixwell who picked it up in the end and just isolated it down. But Alming there, just the shots were crisp.
Yeah, very, very nice. And I mean, that was kind of the decision. OpTic assumes ViCi or Alman's going to peek in that 1-on-2, trying to punish him. They were playing it so patiently, but he picks the perfect time as soon as Mixwell kind of leaves his perch to try and move forward on the bomb tap. And there's no real chance for Naf there to kind of help him out. They were taking different angles around that train. Nice stuff in the 1-on-2. Surely. And now, I mean, I like this tactical pause here from, or the timeout from ViCi is they've won their first round, and they have to string them together here. They have to punish this economy. It's still decently strong for OpTic even after this bye that they have. But if they want to have any kind of a chance into the second half, they need to start putting 2 to 3 together.
Yeah, we'll see if OpTic have a reply to the last round. If there's anything that comes to mind, it might not actually need much change as Haste, though could be in trouble here. 2 players now heading down through Ivy. He's got to back away, but he maybe gets caught out there by a jumping UMP. Not sure that's the ideal way to try and get it done, as Haste will happily pick up both. And now Freeman waits for the rotate, catches out Mixwell. This is better. This is starting to become a little bit stronger, but the problem is they're still in this 2v3. Bombs a million miles away, and they don't really have that much progress to the sites.
Now the op could be a nice tool to use from Freeman in the ladder room. He's on top of the train looking for any kind of information. ViCi trying to switch things up into a fast-paced style, trying to go for a little bit of an uppercut, a knockout punch, you could say, to put OpTic on the back foot. This is an interesting decision, though. Split up are the 2 ViCi players. The bomb over towards Ivy, not making any progress. So kind of the idea is they want to kind of sell this fake. They're hoping that OpTic bites on the utility usage, but that's not going to be enough at this level. Without any kind of presence of players towards the inner bomb site, especially after this much time, you can even see OpTic, I mean, they've got one in heaven, they've got one in connector, and they're just saying, you know, make your move. We'll rotate from here.
Turtle down. Patient play from OpTic. Now, walks straight into it. Not much to be done there. If you're not going to cause the rotate, you better be landing shots like, well, it's going out of fashion. Now, Freeman got to walk into it as well. He knows this is tough, but that's the shot we're talking about. But will he expect another? Naf's up there too, bearing in mind. And now you're going to see Tarek coming over. Almost a follow-up there. Naf got pretty low, but in the end, it was controlled. It was well held. And OpTic retain a very strong lead.
Yeah, this was big by Hayes. Even before this, the play you see before those kind of double kill is him throwing the smoke and peeking down Ivy, and he sees it's going to be a fast play. So again, more information gathering from Hayes. And he now, I mean, they can just tell his teammates to start rotating from there. So that's big. OpTic 10-2, and ViCi, they wanted to string them together, but they just couldn't. One player with Tech 9 and armor, that's Freeman. No utility to speak of whatsoever, so again, just desperately hoping for a plant, and Tarek's going to love that if they come down. Mixwell's going to try and make some money, but he can't do it. An opening now for ViCi, they've got 2 kills.
They only have armor on 1 player, but this is incredibly successful for them, considering that was all Freeman. He had the army at the Tech 9, and now they've recovered 2 guns. 1 being an AK is huge. Now it's retake time for OpTic, and yeah, okay, it could be quite likely considering, but it's still tough. It's not an easy one for them. Hayes right around the back, doesn't spot the player. Jackson might get played in from this. Doesn't in the end, and the Glock now with Zoking is all he's going to have to work with. Oh no, this could be a disaster, but he makes it work, and now it's down to Tarek and Rush. Tarek going to take the fight, but quickly gets traded out by Freeman. This is brilliant stuff from ViCi, considering what they had to work with. They've made it count, and Rush, what have you done?
I think he just molotoved the bomb by accident, so he can't do anything. He's going to try and chase this down. It almost seems like he knows it. There's the smoke coming out, but the salvaged weaponry comes out for ViCi. An unlikely round. Of all the rounds they could win, it's a Tech 9 and armor and all Glocks. And that's a little bit of the risk when you're going to be that aggressive on an anti-eco with the UMP. I mean, trying to make some money, you don't really need it this late in the round. So, again, it almost seems like in this match that's not really going to end up costing them, but those are some of the mistakes in other matches where that would just be devastating.
Well, look what it's done to the money. It is a bit of an awkward point to lose it at, but still, you've got to feel there's something here for these guys. It might be a bit of a wake-up call again for OpTic, considering some of the kills they've had is round losses that they've suffered have been from questionable moments from themselves as well. We'll see if it affects them in the future, if this just kind of buckles them up here. Now, Naf last time he was in that sort of spot with the scout, took someone's head off, but ViCi this time, way better armor, more weapons, everything going in their favor. Finally, they have a decent buy going in, so maybe they can make something stick here.
Well, Tarek has the AWP, and he's going to be able to rotate and just more aggression with these pistols, taking
How is
big
Mixwell
risks.
here?
Yeah, this is... I mean, with this patient kind of far away play from ViCi, you'd expect them to be able to punish and spot these kind of plays out. But this time, this is, do you want to talk about devastating? It's going to be Mixwell coming behind. 3 players towards the inner bomb site. It's only Hayes with the UMP towards Ivy.
3 players waiting, and Mixwell to be the nuisance. Once they hit,
Oh, that timing.
Just about makes it round, so he's going to see them just as they hit this execute. This is big for Mixwell. 2 kills, that's massive impact. They've seen the bomb. Now, Armand was over by Ivy, but he was slowly working his way around, and the rest of OpTic have readied themselves. And now considering, what if they go back? What if they're bought out of B? They know where we're going. And already Tarek's got his eyes trained towards it.
It's just so tough when your ViCi set up like that. You almost have to fall away because you know he has all the information. You know more than likely OpTic's cheated players over towards the B site. So now you have to readdress, and you don't have any of this ground. It's very, very scary. The clock's ticking down as well. Tarek's here with the AWP. And he's going to miss the first shot. That's not good. Freeman's found him. It's a 3-on-3. They still have Hazed over towards Ivy. He can still delay a little bit longer if he peeks out, but what's his play from here?
Yeah, he's kind of not in the action. That's the problem. The positioning coming out from ViCi is actually hard for him to play into. The bomb plant as well not working in his favor, but spots out one from underneath the train. That's Freeman. down to 1 HP. Naf finds him. Now the old bomb train is Omen. Now maybe he can do something at this point. No one's checked on it yet, but Naf about to walk around and get a horrible surprise. Nice follow-up as well from Omen. He's going to get the job done, and it's just down to Hazed. Can't make it work for the side, and actually ViCi bounced back a little bit here.
Yeah, really nice positioning from Omen. Huge from him, but I mean, how do you recover from this kind of a situation? I thought ViCi was done from there. But really, really well done. That outer bomb site was just giving up too much. That miss from Tarek really was a lot. I mean, just because he falls as well, he has no information of where they're going after the kill comes out. And that outer bomb site, there's so many spots that Tarek can get in at a post plant. So all of a sudden, ViCi, it's looked terrible for most of this half. But if they get 5 rounds, you could say they got into this, that they recovered in this, and they've gave themselves an opportunity into the second.
There's a buffer here. There is, as you said, that small window, but it's definitely there. Now, Naf, I'm sure this is quite one way, but it's good enough. He's going to get the info, but they're playing passive, playing smart. ViCi's not giving them much right now. They are kind of cornered in, but they're aware of that aggression that's been coming through on OpTic, and they need to stay aware of it. Let's remind ourselves, not too long ago, a play with a Deagle almost completely destroyed their board-up round. So, again, this could be the B hit coming through, but they're being far more cautious about those flanks.
Yeah, and ever since Mixwell was up here with the AWP and got picked off, I think he had like 2 rounds playing before that, but ever since they killed him that 1 round, ViCi's gotten controls of this box halls virtually for free whenever they've wanted it. And because Naf's playing pretty passive at the inner bomb site, like there's no spotting it. There's no one really cheating over at the moment. They're really relying on that ladder room player to be able to either have a fast flank or just, I mean, here he just dies. So this is looking scary. There's no one even close to Naf at the inner site, and all he's got is a Deagle.
This is looking like a 10-5 and completely takes the flash to the face. Naf has to back away from this, and he knows it. So far, 2 players out. Bomb yet to commit, though, but that's going to be soon en route. And now Naf needs to land these shots. Not going to happen. Freeman is there, and the bomb site is theirs as well. Zoking going to push up aggressively, try and claim some real estate for the side, because Mixwell's still causing trouble. It is a 3v4, but the problem is the utility of the weapons, none of them are with OpTic here, and this site is under wraps. ViCi have it under lock until that point. What is going on with these jumping peaks?
Yeah, that's a nice shot from Hayes. He's got the AK-47 now. But there's really, I mean, no kits. They don't have a lot of utility even. They can't smoke off the bomb in any way. This still should just be a ViCi round. They have the Molotov as well, and they have the AKs at the long range against Rush's Deagle. Hayes in a desperate situation, and maybe not even desperate because there's not a chance of him winning it in a 1-on-3. This is going to be a 5th round for ViCi, so some mistakes down the line in this first half for OpTic Gaming, and ViCi's able to capitalize on it. That's going to make things interesting.
Yeah, second half coming up after the break. This could be more than expected here. OpTic letting it slip, and ViCi not going to let that opportunity fail. As said, that window of opportunity was gladly taken by ViCi, who brought back 5 pretty good rounds towards the end, turning around what could have been an incredibly one-sided matchup.
Yeah, they won 4 of the last 5 rounds at the end, and a couple of them were once they finally got that economy of OpTic. I mean, through some of their own bad decisions, but they did finally break that. So the last 2 rounds were a little bit of alleviated pressure with some pistols, some SMGs worked in there. But still, ViCi does a very, very good job of staying poised and being able to capitalize on those mistakes. So it's all down to this pistol round now.
Now, I want to see how OpTic take this, because, you know, we saw a couple of moments there where it was kind of a reminder of, all right, guys, sharpen up a bit here. It feels like they're a little bit lackadaisical, a little bit, you know, slower to, you know, focusing in on this, and hopefully that 10-5 scoreline on a half might kind of kick them into gear. And this is no discredit to ViCi. The rounds they won were actually pretty good. They closed them out pretty well, but it was the opportunity that was given over. OpTic kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit there, but still, we'll see how this one works out. OpTic are known for how good they can be on train. This is certainly not a bad map for them, so keep your eyes towards it. And ViCi as well sit with this pretty nicely in their pocket, but again, you look at the opponents, you look at the level they're playing at, you've got to work it out. And I guess we're still pretty new to seeing ViCi at these sort of levels.
Yeah, we definitely are, and this is the side that's really going to test them, because this is where OpTic, some of the like the individual talent and stars that they have. This is where, you know, one of the things that made them so dangerous at the end of last year was how good they were at training and entering into bomb sites and swarming them when the hit came in. Those are all things that are going to make them very, very dangerous on train. So this is where, you know, OpTic gets to dictate where they take the fights. They get to dictate the portion of the map that they're going to be aggressive on. So it's going to be up to ViCi to be able to stop not only them, but the teammates that are going to be so aggressive in trying to get the trade.
Alright, we've got a Tech 9 on Mixwell too. Superman, Raid Boss, wherever it is, it contains danger. Now, there's 2 players already over by B for ViCi, but incredibly passive. They're kind of allowing a bomb plant, if you will. They've got the kit to play retake on, so not too surprising. And there goes the first smoke. Freeman gonna land a nice little clean shot towards Rush, backs away from it, doesn't take too much damage either. And now the bomb has crossed itself towards the site. You can see the 2 players pushing up by the oil train, which is Tarek and Mixwell. And there's Mixwell coming in with that Tech 9. That is the frag you're going to be seeing. And now they're pushing even further forward. This is very aggressive coming in from OpTic. And now they're down to 2.
Yeah, everyone's pushing forward to try and distract from Mixwell. So much action. Hayes is going to be here. He's going to be able to find Owen. Maybe not. He gets the headshot eventually. The bomb's not planted for him. And Advent's got a kit and a smoke. This is going to be dangerous. Hayes, he's got to find this kill through the smoke. He's missing it, and he's not going to get it. That's a brilliant defuse from ViCi. They hold on to that pistol round. OpTic had to be aggressive. They had nowhere to go but forward in that round, and it works against them. The USPs come to bear right at the end of the round.
Oh, you got to feel for Hayes as well. He just ran out of bullets at the end then.
That's
rough.
Crushing.
That's really rough. But I was going to say clean eco. It's not at all. They have brought up slightly. There's a couple of upgraded pistols. Pretty light investment. So we'll see maybe what OpTic can do with this. Of course, a bomb plant makes them kind of lean towards buying in that third. We'll see how this one pans out for them. Purely SMGs coming out, as much as the UMP does look like a rifle on occasion, considering its performance.
Yes.
I assure you, it does pretend to be an SMG.
It's in disguise. And yeah, I mean, that's the danger now, is with all these SMGs with no armor as well, the buildup of economy in this round could be deadly for OpTic Gaming to get started. You got to expect it's going to be a buy in the next one. One flashbang to try and get into the site, and it is going to be Jackson long range with the SMG, and he spotted one now, going to go for the smoke off. And actually, OpTic's fallen away. They've given up a little bit of information. They've shown themselves, and I don't think they realize that Freeman is this close. Maybe they're thinking that's the only player at the inner bomb site was at that upper ramp, but they all run back towards outside, trying to get here quickly, and they actually might have beat the rotation. It's have to be Zoking is going to be able to at least hold him off with this Molotov, and actually all the kills just going towards Almond. 2 there. There's a third. Nice switch over to the USP. Can't do anything more than that, and the plant isn't even going to go down, so nothing accomplished that round for OpTic Gaming.
I just want to turn Zoking's DPI down. It looks like when you accidentally hit like a DPI switch on your mouse, it's like, oh my sweet Jesus, just flipping around the place. But it works with them. I can't really knock it when it works, but it just looks a little bit baffling sometimes. Now we can see the buy coming out. Now they're going to stick on 3 UMPs, another SMG. Okay, 1 rifle's come up for Zoking. So
yeah.
This could be a chance for OpTic to possibly do some damage. But if this sits favorably with ViCi, that means their money is going to be in such a beautiful position, but OpTic with limited utility, going to have to make this hit count wherever they go. They can't really abort out of it and then kind of have a second go at things.
Yeah, they have no one. This is all 5 towards the inner bomb site. There's been no rotation yet. I don't know if maybe Freeman hasn't called anyone over. They're just not doing it, but he's all alone here. They could just walk out the upper ramp. There's no one here to spot this. And with all the SMGs, OpTic's going to be happy to take this fight with AK-47s. The rotations are coming in now, but it's a little bit late. 1 kill from Freeman. He gets a second. That's actually huge, but 2 responded from OpTic as well.
Considering where Jackson was, this is really surprising that they didn't have the information faster, but back into the round, it's a 3v2. Now, Orming's still around the back, and no one's actually spotting this, but they planted safe for it because they're aware there could be that quick rotate, but maybe not expecting the frag to come in so quickly. Mixwell gets deleted. Now, 19 HP, sure he's low, but he can get the information. He does kind of go alone at this point. Tarek happily picks that up. Now it's Jackson. He spotted Rush's feet as well, but Rush lands the shot and contains the threat for OpTic, but that was close. But let's talk about how late they were getting towards B. I'm surprised Freeman was able to do this much. That's huge for slowing them down, but still.
If Freeman doesn't get 2 kills here, that round's much cleaner for OpTic, more than likely. I think they wanted to establish the aggression towards Ivy. They had 3 players there. They wanted to get someone pushing up, maybe find that quick rotation, that quick flank that we saw come in that OpTic was actually ready for. But they wanted the players there in case that went wrong, and that's kind of what delayed the reaction or the rotation. Even though a couple players got there pretty quickly, all things considered, not quickly enough to grab the proper angles to prevent all that aggression from OpTic. Either way, with all the SMG bonus money from the previous round, ViCi still have a pretty solid buy into this one.
Yeah, they really do. Hazed and Rush going to prop up pretty much the limited utility that OpTic are working with. They've got everything they need to be able to possibly set up a play here. Mixwell already going to make it out towards, I guess, Olaf at this point, working his way through. Zoking, though, so good on the UMPs. It feels like these SMGs sit very nicely in ViCi's hands, but they've been overwhelmed. Rush and Tarek want to ensure the trades go favorably towards the T side, but Jackson's still here. And he might be able to get away with just looks out at the wrong time and makes up with it for a quick switch towards Rush, and now nothing else coming through. It's Tarek making the play happen, and Naf pushes forward.
Yeah, this is the thing with OpTic. You can see how much they excel. They get just that 1 kill. It's even just a trade. It's a 4-on-4, and then everyone's able to swarm the bomb site. Different angles, clearing the same position. Not a whole lot of opportunities for ViCi to trade those kills quickly. And they swarm that outer bomb site 2 in a row now, and another tactical pause is going to come from ViCi because they've kind of lost control of this. They don't have the money to buy into it. Everyone's sitting right around 2K. Zoking has 2.6, but you really can't mount a great defense against that. So a chance now for OpTic to inch themselves closer towards map victory. Do you like that?
I absolutely loved it, yeah.
A little bit of drama I put on that line?
I was enthralled. I wanted to see where the storyline goes. And we're going to find out soon. The unpause has just come in too, so that'll be ticking down while we wait. But you've got to feel for ViCi. I didn't realize how much momentum OpTic have going out into these sides. Once they get that first pick, it is just relentless. It's just straight through.
Yeah, and this is what we always talk about with the teams from the Asian region. This is the kind of play that they only really experience, at these kinds of international events. They probably don't feel the hits the same way as they do against the other Chinese, the other Asian teams. Molotov is, Hayes burns himself due to the damage.
Oh, no.
It is responded, but you do hate to see it.
Is that a legitimate 1G, I guess?
I think I wouldn't put it in the same category.
No, not to the same degree, but because everyone does it when there's just molly kills. But I guess that is in theory the proper 1G. You molly yourself alive, yeah. But bit awkward. But he's fine. You can see the little kind of tap to the desk. Not happy with that one, I can imagine. But what are you gonna do? At the end of the day, he's still a little rusty. Let's be real about this. The guy's kind of come back in. He's doing great considering. It doesn't. I don't even want to harp about score, but he's holding his own, and that's all you can really ask for at this point. It may be a factor later down the line, but for now, the 13-7 up. ViCi do have a relatively decent buy for once, but these UMPs, they are absolutely loving the Mixwell. Going to pin down one, but Zoking's going to look for the trade down. He finds it. Mixwell goes down, and now he's kind of left up aggressive, but he doesn't have anyone to particularly support him here.
Yeah, now he's also got 2 choke points in front and behind, and yeah, he has to get aggressive, and there's Rush. A couple of early shots from Zoking give it away. Advent, he can't really move from this because he's got so many positions as well that can punish him. Naf's not going to be able to find the kill. Hayes is going to follow up slowly. Hasn't moved yet. There's the flashbang, getting aggressive himself. Advent turns the corner. That's a perfect flash. Hayes gets styled on. Down into a 2-on-3. Tarek coming out mid. What can they find? Advent spotted it out and wisely not taking the fight.
He's trying to bait out Tarek, though. Keep his attention there. Hope that one of his teammates can get the job done, but he will swing on it himself in the end and get Tarek to fall. Now it's Rush, and that was great positioning coming out from the end from Advent, I've got to say. He played that so well.
He really did. I mean, that's a tough spot to be in as well behind that train when you can get shot from Ladder, you can get shot from Ivy, you can get shot from T-Main as well. So, I mean, you really have to play that perfectly, and he does it. It takes a little bit of luck to go along with it. It always looks cool when you make it happen. 13-8. The op is out in Jackson's hand. Mixwell has one as well. He did get one kill. He got that pick with it in team mid, but then he got a little overzealous. Got traded on immediately, so it gives up that advantage.
Oh, Tarek, if you die to this, I'm going to be so happy. Here we go. The Left 4 Dead gun just doesn't work out. It sounds so similar to the shotty in Left 4 Dead. But the important factor here is that Advent and Jackson are making this incredibly hard for OpTic, but it does eventually grind out their way. This is, oh my god, Naf's got the bomb, it's alright. He gets 3 kills and then just kind of gets a little scared when someone shoots him.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Yeah, he was considering mauling. He was waiting for that flank, but he realized the bomb is there. So he's gone, they've actually juked Freeman. The bomb's coming back. That's very nice. No appearance in the 2-on-1 from OpTic, and now Freeman's been at the wrong bomb site. This is going to be an easy plant. They've got to be a little bit cautious. They obviously don't know that he's rotated this far. But Molly in the connector allows Rush to cover off everything else. And now they can get into those post-plant positions and to clear out 2 places. He does have a kit, but this is going to be a tall task.
This is such an uphill struggle for him. 2 flashes, 1 molly, and a kit. So he does have some play back into this, but as you said, just the setup afterwards is going to be so hard to break back in towards Naf. Is there eventually, and 4 kills for him after a brilliant start. The first 3 were absolutely outstanding, and that pretty much secured the round, as we just saw it kind of close down in such a favorable situation. But the money's now gone for ViCi.
It's so funny on some of these takes by OpTic because you feel like ViCi is have some success. They're actually going to be able to hold off the attack, and there's always like a tipping point where it isn't like a 2-on-3 or a 2-on-2, but in the mid round when there's no utility left, when there's nothing to block them off, and they have the information, it just seems everything then from then on just goes OpTic's way. So 14-8, and they've put ViCi in a really tough spot. They have to invest in these pistols. They can't give up this round, and how do they want to do it? Some aggression towards Laterum, some aggression towards Inner as well. So they're getting some information, but I mean, OpTic, it's not going to help much because, yeah, OpTic's just sitting back waiting for these kind of information gathering plays. They know that ViCi's going to be, has to do something creative to get into this round.
Yeah, OpTic seems so aware. It feels like they've just kind of flicked the switch and they're a little bit more focused here. Rush, gonna find Jackson, but the aggression hasn't stopped. That's awkward. Mixwell dinked down to 3, and now he's got to send Hayes in. Like, please, just handle this. In the end, they do. 5 alive. A little bit warm there for Rush, but gets the pistol upgrade he wanted in the end. But 5 alive is the important factor going into this round. 15-8. Money is perfectly well-rounded for OpTic and ViCi. It's the polar opposite. You've got UMPs coming out, which they seem perfectly happy with, let's be honest. They actually made some great impact with them. But it's just pistols as well outside of that. So, bit of a struggle to try and turn this one around. We haven't seen them having the money in their pocket they needed to really put up a fight here, it feels. The economy's been completely shattered for them throughout this half. And when they have had it, they kind of got reset straight away off the back of it. Now, Rush is just going to go straight out. Look at this aggression again. Takes the fight, and he doesn't win it. Zoking's there. Takes a fair amount of damage down to 1 HP, but he does recover a rifle. But in the meantime, it's OpTic hitting B. Tarek first in and first frag towards that B site as well. Tarek now mollying out. Mixwell's there. And this is an all-encompassing hit, and it's down to 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's really nice from OpTic. I mean, knowing that ViCi's going to be quick on the rotates because they have low buys, and there's the nade to clean them out. They just know ViCi's got to overcompensate to try and make something happen, and Mixwell gets down that lower ramp with the AWP. They don't even have to use nades to get into the site. He's just there to cut off rotations. And I mean, even though you're salvaging it up, you're getting a kill, this is going to be it. This is going to be the map for OpTic Gaming. It's going to be 16-8 for them. No chance of Almond. He had a brilliant clutch in the first half, but nothing for him to do here.
No. Might want to just buy his time a little bit. They're making it look good at least. There's no kid on him, though. That's the bigger problem here, and he knows that this is just being locked out. And the GGs are being said, Tarek wants the knife. You got to feel for him in these situations. You know it's over. And there it is. There's a GG. In the end, it's 16-8. OpTic, there were moments where it looked like maybe ViCi could have pushed them further, but in the end, once they got going on that T side, it was a lockout.
Yeah, and before we send things off, I do want to mention Hayes had a very, very good game in that first half. Well, you mentioned, stepping in as a coach, probably hasn't played a whole lot recently, but his impact was more, he had a couple of those rounds, the brilliant information gathering, 2 different rounds.
Ivy and,
to help them, with the flank, and then also spotting the rush very, very quickly. So a couple things that he did that helped out massively for the OpTic side.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for him to be playing more than what people would expect. You come back in from being pretty much not necessarily irrelevant, but a little bit quieter to the scene and hold his own at this point. So, guys, we're going to head off in just a moment's time, and when we're back, we'll be with the desk to break this one down for you.